wet holiday weather. Now this.
For more than 100 years, we've stuck only to the finest bananas.
Perfecto.
Chiquita bananas every day at Dillo Foods.
Drizzle tonight, low of 40, cloudy in the morning tomorrow, partly sunny in the afternoon, high upper 50s, sunny and warmer on Wednesday. Now to CBS.
A change in U.S. policy forces thousands of Haitian refugees to return home. In Eastern Europe, thousands lose their homes in a civil war that shows no sign of ending. And Eye on America. Tonight, a grassroots rebellion out to mow down the status quo.
We've got problems. That's why I'm in the mood for a change.
This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening. I'm Connie Chung, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. The U.S. Coast Guard sent 500 more refugees back to Haiti today. Some said they will try again to get to the United States, even though President Bush is now trying to close the door. Under his new policy, Haitians intercepted at sea will no longer be taken to a refugee camp for questioning. They will be sent right home. Doug Tennell reports.
The Bush administration's new policy on boat people from Haiti fundamentally alters a scene that has been played out on the high seas almost every day in the last 8 months. After intercepting more than 32,000 Haitians and giving them a chance for a new life in America, the White House ordered the Coast Guard to escort them back to their impoverished homeland. No questions, no appeals, and no possibility of political asylum, regardless of their background. Haitian advocates denounced the new policy as racist.
There's no question in my mind or anyone else's mind that if these people were European, we would not be talking today.
Many Haitians in the United States who were already angry about Bush policy on Haiti are outraged now.
United States really don't give a damn. I repeat, don't give a damn what's happening in Haiti.
With more than 12,000 Haitians now at the U.S. naval base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, the holding site for asylum seekers is said to be filled to capacity. President Bush decided over the weekend that no alternative housing was available. Returning from a holiday in Kennebunkport, he defended that decision today, saying he had done the right thing. But critics charged the administration acted out of other motives.
An election year ploy, sort of the new version of Willie Horton. That is an effort to appeal to the most conservative wing of the Republican Party.
Human rights advocates say they may challenge the new policy as a violation of an international pact on the treatment of refugees. The new policy was an unexpected surprise, which may explain why it was announced in the midst of a holiday weekend. Just last week, the Bush administration said it had ordered the Coast Guard to let Haiti's boat people sail unless their boats and their lives were in real danger on the high seas. Doug Tennell, CBS News, Miami.
This is the 100th anniversary of the birth of Joseph Tito, longtime president of Yugoslavia. Tito kept tight control over nationalist passions in the republics, especially Serbia and Croatia. Now, Yugoslavia lies in ruins, and Serbia is on the warpath. Barry Peterson reports from the Serbian capital of Belgrade.
These are the victims. More flowed into the refugee camps today. And increasingly, in the eyes of the world, these are the villains. The National Army, made up mostly of Serbians, fighting for Serbia. Serbia leads the group of 3 republics being blamed for the war. The world has recognized the 3 other breakaway republics as independent countries and is moving rapidly to isolate Serbia economically and politically to force an end to the fighting. The effects are already noticeable. Gas lines stretched for blocks. Prices doubled over the weekend. At the markets, prices rise by the hour. Inflation is hitting an incredible 28,000%. The former communist regime now running this country is keeping its grip on power by telling people the war is right and telling them virtually nothing about how the world community is turning its back on Serbia. But cracks in the support for the war are appearing. Before the curtain goes up, performers read out a call for peace.
A human and artistic call.
For what?
For peace.
Why?
Because we are sick of this war.
There is trouble in the army. For every soldier in uniform, 2 others are refusing to serve, dodging the draft. Fledgling opposition parties are speaking out against the regime and its policies.
to have disaster, to follow this regime, this line of national suicide.
An opposition political rally this weekend became an anti-war protest. The numbers are few, the effect so far is small, but the vow is genuine. To do from the inside what the world is trying to do from the outside, to bring the killing to an end. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Belgrade.
In this country, there was an accident at a Memorial Day parade in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A limousine joining the parade line suddenly accelerated and plowed into a crowd on the sidewalk. The car hit a building. At least 13 people were injured, 2 critically. Vice President Quayle led the Memorial Day services at Arlington National Cemetery. He placed a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns. Quayle said the U.S. Armed Forces represent the best of American values. And Bill Clinton placed a wreath at a military cemetery in Little Rock. The Democratic presidential candidate said the country's armed forces can be cut back, but must remain second to none. Tomorrow is primary day in Clinton's home state of Arkansas. He's expected to win big. Correspondent Richard Threlkeld has been checking the Clinton record on one of the big campaign issues, welfare reform.
The Arkansas Delta is the poorest part of one of the poorest states in America, a place of busted hopes and broken dreams, as blue as the notes on Frank Frost's harmonica. Much of what little work there is here doesn't pay a living wage, so a lot of women with children, like Sherlyn Neal, who want a job but can't find one, become welfare mothers by default.
You can't get by on welfare, you can't get by without it. That's just the bottom line.
Bill Clinton spent much of his time as governor here trying to change that bottom line for the better. Welfare reform's a cornerstone of Clinton's campaign.
Our problems need to be addressed with a view toward creating opportunity, demanding responsibility, and empowering people to control their own lives instead of helping them in ways that maintain dependency.
The result is Project Success, better known as Workfare. It requires welfare recipients to improve their education and take courses in how to get a job.
He's not going to do community service?
No. Project Success has its successes, 9,000 of them in the last 3 years. Myrna Tate was on and off welfare for 19 years. Now she's qualified for a job as counselor in criminal court. It pays the bills, finally.
I don't have to worry about, can I hide out if the bill collector comes to the door or something, or if I'm going to leave home and come back and my lights are going to be off. Then, I really feel good because I don't have to worry about that anymore.
But it's been less successful for those most in need in towns like Mariana, where transportation's sketchy and child care facilities don't exist. Even a high school diploma hasn't helped Eunice Westbrook support her 3 kids.
I used to go around from door to door trying to find me a job, so I don't bother no more, because there are really no jobs in Mariana.
Critics say the state's more concerned with getting people into Project Success than with making sure they get a job out of it.
I think anytime you promise them something and don't follow through, you're letting them down.
Sherlyn Neal, for one, feels let down and so doesn't think much of Clinton for president.
He hasn't done nothing in my town that I can see. So why shake my hand and say, well, once I get up there a little further, I'm going to do such and such and such. If you didn't do it when you was down there, what makes anybody think he's going to do it up there?
To be fair, Bill Clinton would have to be a miracle worker to find a job for every welfare mother who needs one in this hard-scrabble corner of Arkansas. Okay. To his credit, he's done something about the problem instead of just talk about it. It's a measure of its magnitude that instead of breaking the welfare cycle, he's only managed to bend it a bit. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, a mafia slaughter stirs political outrage in Italy. And the slums of Rio get a facelift for next month's Earth Summit.
Taste it, Grandpa.
He never would have tried this with his old adhesive.
Fixodent holds stronger than any other adhesive. It even stands up to the hottest liquids. For the strongest hold you can get, Fixodent and forget it.
Tylenol users discover a powerful name in aspirin-free pain relief.
It took away my headache. Aspirin-free Anacin worked as well as Tylenol.
Like Tylenol, aspirin-free Anacin is 100% aspirin-free acetaminophen, so it's gentle on your stomach.
Now I have a choice.
You've just poured yourself a bowl of Kellogg's Crispix. When?
Hello? Mom, what a surprise. Well, actually, my cereal's sitting in milk.
When will you get back to your Kellogg's Crispix? It's anybody's guess.
Uh-huh. But they wouldn't give your money back?
Fortunately, Kellogg's Crispix stays crisp and delicious in milk.
I'm sure Aunt Helen didn't mean it that way.
Even if you can't get to it right away.
Uh-huh. Still crispy. You're absolutely right, Mom.
Kellogg's Crispix, the taste that waits for you.
Security forces are on red alert in Barcelona, Spain. The host city for the Summer Olympics has been hit by a rash of fires and bombings. Just today, a bomb went off outside a government office building. 15 people were injured. No one claimed responsibility, but police suspect a Basque terror group that's demanding independence from Spain. Italy's parliament broke a long deadlock today and chose a new president, Oscar Luigi Scalfaro. Political factions finally came together after a devastating mafia attack that spotlighted the government's impotence against organized crime. Bert Quint reports.
Rosaria Costa cursed the mafia today for turning Palermo into a city of blood. Her policeman husband and 2 other bodyguards were blown up along with Italy's top crime buster and his wife this weekend in the most dramatic mafia attack in decades. Giovanni Falcone was the investigating judge who put nearly 350 mobsters behind bars 5 years ago. He lived under tight security, but neither the secrecy of his movements nor his armor-plated car could save him. When he flew to Palermo Saturday, the mafia was tipped off and exploded a ton of dynamite under the airport road as he passed. There are those who insist revenge was just a cover, that Falcone was killed to keep him from getting at the truth about alleged links between the mafia and prominent politicians. Leo Luca Orlando, former mayor of Palermo, told Parliament today the assassination was too big to be ordered by a local mafia boss.
The mafia is not a criminal organization only. The mafia is so strong, it's so difficult to be defeated because it has connections with the politics in our country.
Many in Palermo agree. They shouted vergogna, shame, at politicians who came down from Rome. And Rosaria, the policeman's widow, said, "We know the mafia is right here with us today." I would forgive you, she said, if you would change. But like millions of other Italians, she has run out of hope. Bert Quint, CBS News, Rome.
Stay with us now for more CBS News, including a report from San Francisco, where rising voter anger is the up-and-coming political trend.
Because sometimes the day ends and the pain doesn't, we've created Tylenol PM. With extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep. Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
Gas pressure means pain and bloating. And the way doctors see it, your best choice for relief is Mylanta gas. It has the best medicine for gas.
Meet American Family's millionaires. Brumbelow, Hamblin, Godzik, on and on and on. Now, if you hurry, you can be the newest American Family millionaire. Next month's millionaire. You, an instant millionaire next month, when we start awarding all these big prizes, up to $10 million. Don't miss out. You may have the $10 million winning number right now in this sweepstakes, the one with my picture. Enter fast, and you can be a millionaire next month.
Before we ship a new Buick LeSabre, it must meet an international standard of excellence. If it fails to meet a single electrical check, we don't ship it. If the aim of a headlight isn't true, if the seams aren't measured to the millimeter, we don't ship it. So if you buy a Buick LeSabre for its quality, you won't be missing the boat, even though it doesn't come by boat.
If you think it can't happen where you live or to your family, think again. AIDS, the killer next door, 48 hours Wednesday.
California is often a trendsetter. Take the anti-incumbent movement. A few months ago, voters in San Francisco dumped the mayor and voted an outsider in. So the voters are happy now, right? Well, John Blackstone shows you how the tide has turned in the city by the bay.
This is a San Francisco tragedy.
Shut up. Please, shut up.
It hasn't been pretty what's been happening in San Francisco politics lately, and many blame it on a national trend, voter enthusiasm for political outsiders.
I, Francis Michael Jordan.
It began when San Franciscans threw out an incumbent and elected as mayor a man who had never before held political office.
These are not the idle promises of a politician, but the solid expectations of a citizen mayor.
Frank Jordan, a career policeman, promised to do what his predecessor, Art Agnos, a career politician, could not. Get the homeless off the streets and somehow solve the budget crisis without raising taxes.
When are you going to give us a solution before the election?
As soon as I'm the mayor, you'll see what I'm going to do, Art.
But ever since Jordan took office in January, the citizen mayor and a woman known around town as the first fiancé have discovered that politics can be a tough business for amateurs.
I think some people just don't understand that when you take a mayor who is a non-politician and bring in a new team around them, building up from scratch, certainly there's growing pains along the way.
Critics say there's been nothing but growing pains.
There were no answers. It was a constant bumbling affair.
Stephen Bloom was fired after working 2 months as the mayor's press secretary.
I think he discovered that politics is very dangerous and politics is very complicated.
Jordan promised to make the city proud again.
And gone.
But 6 days after he took office, the San Francisco Giants announced plans to move down the road to San Jose. After just 4 months in office, Jordan is already facing a recall campaign.
Yeah, maybe he should learn to be mayor by holding some other elected office first and gradually...
As San Francisco City Hall is rocked by crisis after crisis, it's clear the advantage of being an outsider ends as soon as the ballots have been counted. But a former insider, Mayor Joseph Alioto, who once ruled the city with an iron fist, says the newcomer should not be judged so harshly.
I know a guy named George Bush, who is certainly no outsider. He's having a lot of problems, too.
In this year of the political outsider, voters and citizen politicians alike may soon discover the problems don't go away just because the insiders do. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
Look what's popping up, fat-free. Special K waffles from Eggo. Once you see how good fat-free can be, whoa, no, you never let go.
No way. It's all mine.
Special K waffles from Eggo.
Eggo Special K waffles. Crisp, delicious, yet every bite fat-free, cholesterol-free, and just 80 calories per waffle. See how good fat-free can be.
Oh, no, you never let go. Nah. Special K waffles from Eggo.
Boy, this couch weighs a ton. Where does it go, Miss Lansbury?
Oh, right there, please. Wow. If I lifted that, I'd need buffering for the aches and pains afterwards.
You really believe in buffering?
I certainly do.
It's strong, huh?
Extra strength buffering has the strongest dosage of aspirin that you can buy. And I've discovered that the buffers don't weaken it. They just help prevent aspirin stomach upset.
Shouldn't you discover the strength of buffering?
And for nighttime aches, pains, and sleeplessness, try Buffering AF Nighttime. It's aspirin-free.
You rode the same rides, ate the same junk, got the same heartburn. But his antacid's different from yours. His Tums has calcium. Most antacids don't. Regular Rolaids uses an aluminum salt. This uses aluminum and magnesium. So does this. Of all these, only Tums helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium you need every day.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Calcium-rich Tums.
They're the uninvited pests that always turn up at your outdoor summer functions. Find out which repellents really keep them away tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
Rio de Janeiro is about to host the biggest summit conference in history. About 100 heads of state and 40,000 others will gather there next month for the so-called Earth Summit on the environment. Brazil is spending more than $100 million to get Rio ready, as Giselle Fernandez reports.
In the slum called Cajou, most people have no idea of the monumental summit next month. What they do know is that there's a rush to move them out. This man has called Cajou home for more than 40 years. He says the city has long promised to move them to a better place. What it finally took was an international conference, though, to make it happen. The leveling of Cajou is just part of a hasty, multi-million-dollar facelift. The rush is also on to finish an expressway that will cut through town, taking the thousands of guests from the airport straight to the convention center. It's the city's way of keeping the world's top leaders from being greeted by Rio's overwhelming slums. Eyesores along the route, like Cajou, are being wiped out.
I really think that Echo 92 will be the last chance to change our image abroad.
An image severely tainted over the years by unchecked poverty. There are millions of homeless children and rampant crime, even on the beaches in the middle of the day. Tourism here has plummeted, so now hotels are posting guards everywhere.
They're really doing a lot of work to clean up the area and to change the image of Rio, because a lot of people have heard that there's a lot of problems there.
Brazil has been severely criticized for its environmental record. It's been charged with permitting destruction of the rainforests. Its environmental monitoring agency is out of funds at a time when tens of millions are being spent on the Rio conference. Even the air conditioning at the new convention center will release chlorofluorocarbons that eat away at the Earth's ozone. Environmental regulations were waived to get the project done on time. Despite all of the criticism, the old man moved from his shack will get a new home, away from garbage and raw sewage. He says it's a chance he's been waiting for, a chance not all those displaced are getting. The United Nations has a big stake in Rio's image. It was here in 1989 that Rio was chosen to host the Earth Summit. The UN is hoping to prove wrong the pessimistic predictions of environmental groups who say the conference, like the host city, is too much window dressing instead of the window on the world's environment many are hoping for. Giselle Fernandez, CBS News, New York.
Coming up next, Eye on America. Tonight, the American Revolution, 1992.
Looks great. But come on, I mean, you know, you could have gotten yourself another BMW or a Lexus.
I suppose. But why? This had everything I wanted. Power, great handling, ABS.
Yeah, but
airbag, leather, everything. I couldn't see spending $10,000, $20,000 more for what?
Who makes it?
Pontiac. It's the new Bonneville.
Nice.
Like to try Total?
Officially, I'm a Nutri-Grain man.
Hope you're hungry. Takes 4 bowls of Nutri-Grain to get the nutrition in 1 bowl of Total.
4 bowls?
1 bowl of Total has 100% of 12 vitamins and minerals.
The call goes to Total.
Tonight on TV8 News, live at 10, an eye on the environment.
I'm Molly Cooney. In just a few days, all of the pools and beaches will be open for the summer. But as the temperature increases, so does the warning against skin cancer. And health officials say malignant melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, is now the country's fastest growing form of cancer. We'll find out how you can avoid ever getting skin cancer tonight on An Eye on the Environment.
Tonight on TV8, Iowa's news leader.
This is regular. This is better. This Bufferin is regular. For headaches, Anacin is better. Why better? Regular Bufferin has 1 ingredient. Anacin has 2, a pain medicine plus a second ingredient that makes it work better. Get Anacin. Get better.
You could ease up a little.
Table for 2 in about 5 minutes. Mr. Douglas, I have your table.
But you're not gonna. You could stop being a perfectionist. But you're not gonna. You're not going to change because of heartburn, and you don't have to. There's something new that's like no ordinary antacid. New Maalox Heartburn Relief. It stops the burning and helps keep it from coming back. So get on with life like you're going to live it. New Maalox Heartburn Relief is made for you.
If you haven't noticed, Americans are angry this election year. Some are showing it by staying home from the polls, others by voting for protest candidates. Then there's another group. People turning their anger into action. You'll meet them in tonight's Eye on America, reported by Scott Pelley.
Daybreak in America, and the voices are angry.
Burgundy, load them up, 21K.
In a Manhattan fish market.
I just like a change. I don't see Bush doing anything. I think Clinton's for being honest with you.
On the air in Minneapolis.
I want to know when those bloodsuckers at the Capitol are going to get the message. No more taxes.
Across the Kansas plains.
I can't understand why they can't get up and do their job.
And amid California's middle-class dream.
The system has some serious flaws and has, in recent years, seriously failed the American people.
From coast to coast, the anger has become so great that many Americans are now taking matters into their own hands. Small revolutions are breaking out all over the country as voters begin to return to Lincoln's ideal of government by the people.
I was sent here today by my taxpayers to pursue seceding from Kansas.
In a corner of Kansas, the people of 10 counties have voted to secede and form a 51st state.
Everybody runs around and says, this is illegal. You can't do it. Well, we are going to do it.
The Kansans are angry because taxes are going up. They believe government would be more efficient if they ran it themselves.
I don't think they listen to us out here.
If Russia can do the things they're doing over there, why can't we get our own representation and do our own thing here?
Secession may not survive the courts, but it is a measure of how remote big government has become.
We've seen a shift in the understanding of government from the voice and the agent of the people to a service provider. So we look at it as we look upon a business. It's not something we own. It's not something we do.
Harry Boyd is a political scientist teaching people to become citizens again.
We call it citizen politics. You just can't voice the complaint. You also have to do something.
Boyd and his colleagues show ordinary people how to become their own lobbyists, people like Annette Combs.
I wanted her horizons to be brighter, and so that's what made me get involved.
Her daughter Jakari has cerebral palsy. Annette is working to improve her education by lobbying the school board, the first political act of her life.
I was so quiet that I couldn't say nothing because I was scared. I figured they knew it. But now I'm okay with speaking up. I'm okay with action.
Nobody's willing to put their party differences aside and take care of the American people.
For others, the recession is the trigger for political action. When hard times hit Ruthie Goldkorn's family, she hit the campaign trail for a city council candidate.
We'd like to introduce Tom to you.
Hi.
How you doing?
All right.
The Goldkorns lived the American dream in Southern California. Then Ruthie was disabled, and Peter Goldkorn lost his job as a banker. After 5 months, he's working in a department store.
We could have easily lost this house and everything that you see here today.
Gotten a divorce.
That could have been a distinct possibility. Not because of any reason other than a financial reason, just to do that.
For the Goldkorns, political change starts at home.
People who rant and rave and scream and yell, they're not doing. What did you do?
Just blaming politicians lets the rest of us off the hook. We can't simply say it's their fault. It's like Pogo used to say, we've seen the enemy and he is us.
I'm going to get him out now!
1992 has become the mean season of politics. From the big cities to the heartland, some Americans have come to believe government can no longer be left to the politicians. This is Scott Pelley in Washington for Eye on America.
And that's our news. Dan Rather will be back tomorrow night. I'm Connie Chung in New York. I'll see you again next Sunday night. Thank you for joining us, and for all of us at CBS News, good night.
Experience CBS News.
This woman is not sure she can afford to stay alive. When you're sick, you'll pay any price to get well, but how much is too much? The story on the CBS Evening News tomorrow. This is CBS.
Next on the TV8 News, live at 6, a sex abuse suspect turns himself in. Steve Oswald with an update.
Also tonight, hundreds of Central Iowans spending their holiday signing up for Ross Perot. Michelle Parker with that story. And it's a great holiday if you like the great indoors. Jill Lingwall with a live report.
Sarah says the rain is about over, and Heidi with the Bulls and a sports challenge. TV8 News is next.
Watch your step now, everybody. Okay, I got the monks for the Big Sur Waterbeds commercial.
Monks? What monks?
You know, no payments for 6 months.
That's 6 months, you idiot. No payments for 6 months.
Okay, that's a wrap, fellas. Call me sometime. We'll do sushi.
It's simple. Buy now at Big Sur and don't make a payment or pay any interest for 180 days. Enjoy the comfort of a Big Sur waterbed with no payments for 6 months. Months. Offer ends June 7th. Big Sur Waterbeds, America's largest.
It isn't fair for people who ride in a Jeep to have all the fun. Hey, who said life's fair?
The next time you leave something behind at an Amoco station, make it something we can use. Your old motor oil.
Thank you for watching KCCI, TV8 in Des Moines. And now from TV8, Iowa's news leader, Paul Rhodes, Kevin Cooney, Connie McBurney with weather, and Heidi Soliday Sports. This is TV8 News, live at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. A Polk County man wanted for alleged child abuse is now in custody.
Arthur Downs was arrested late last night. Authorities had pursued him after children at his mobile home park began complaining that Downs was sexually abusing them. TV8 Steve Oswald has been following the story today and joins us now live from the newsroom with what he's found. Steve?
Well, Polk County authorities had been pursuing Downs since he fled last week. Polk County Detective Don Turk says Downs fled to Missouri, but through a number of telephone conversations with authorities late last week and continuing through the weekend, Downs agreed to return to Iowa. Last night, after returning to town, he called authorities, told them where they could find him, and then he quickly was arrested at a Des Moines area home.
It was peaceful at Country Living Mobile Home Park near Altoona this morning because one of its former residents was no longer free as a bird.
Arthur Downs?
Yes. 57-year-old Arthur Downs was in Polk County Court, making his initial appearance on charges of second-degree sexual abuse and indecent contact with a child. The judge entered a not guilty plea for him, and he was given the name of a public defender.
Downs has been at large for the last several days as Polk County authorities tried to apprehend him. But now that he's been found, residents of this trailer park are glad that he's in custody.
I feel great that he's behind bars. I mean, it's about time they did something about it. It's just about time because he's really hurt these kids bad. You know, it's going to be worth them the rest of their lives.
If it's true, I hope he gets the help that he needs. We need to get it stopped before anybody else gets hurt.
Child abuse investigators interviewed Rhonda Adamson's daughter last week.
She showed Mary Beth the stuff about the little doll, the female doll and the male doll, how he'd done this and that.
A search warrant for Downs' mobile home last week shows investigators were looking for a lot of evidence, right down to the candy that they allege that Downs used to lure the kids into his bedroom. Neighbors today describe Downs as friendly, intelligent, and affectionate. Now, investigators say Downs offered no resistance when they arrested him last night. He's being held on more than $30,000 bond. He's scheduled for a bond review hearing tomorrow morning. Paul?
Thank you, Steve. Another victim of alleged child abuse is improving tonight. Heather Wheeler is now listed in serious condition at a local hospital. Late last week, the little girl's condition had been downgraded to critical, but now she has improved once again. Wheeler suffered second-degree burns after being submerged in hot water. Her grandmother has been charged with child endangerment.
A South Central Iowa man is dead following a farm accident. 19-year-old Wesley Jones of Van Wert in Decatur County died yesterday. Authorities said Jones was helping his father build a fence when an industrial loader rolled down on top of him from an embankment. The exact cause of the accident remains under investigation. Voter dissatisfaction apparently is fueling the growing support for billionaire Ross Perot for president here in Iowa and elsewhere around the country. Perot has not yet officially declared his candidacy, but his Iowa supporters are working hard to get him on the ballot here in November. TV8's Michelle Parker has more on that story.
It's a long time
from May to November, right?
Texas billionaire Ross Perot is the man a growing number of Americans believe is the right person to lead this country.
You ready to sign up for Ross Perot? Super.
In the Des Moines area today, residents flock to sign petitions so Perot can be on the ballot here in Iowa. People who signed the petition say they're fed up with the current political leadership in the country and are looking for an alternative for president.
I think we need a change to get something done about the state of Iowa as well as the nation, and perhaps this is the way.
I'm not happy with either of the main party candidates, and I just think we need someone else.
That's why we're getting somebody else, hopefully, in who's going to do something for us.
1,000 signatures are needed to get Perot on the ballot here in Iowa. Supporters say they already have that, and they're going for 100,000 signatures. Leaders of the Perot movement say getting that many signatures will make an important statement.
To show support for Mr. Perot, to show how dissatisfied the people are with the government system that's in place right now.
Critics of Perot say he has yet to come up with a specific plan of action he would take as president, but supporters say that will come.
They have to realize he's only been doing this for about 2 months now. He has no political experience, and he's new at this, just like almost all of us.
Many people say they're willing to listen to what Perot has to say.
I know some of the things that he's done in the past, and I think he would be a good person for the job.
I've heard several people say if the politicians can't do it, then maybe a businessman can, and it just kind of makes you stop and think. And I don't know that I'm necessarily going to vote for him, but I think that, it's good that we're going to have another choice.
A statewide Perot petition drive is scheduled for Flag Day next month. Michelle Parker, TV8 News.
Sarah Jarvis is in for Connie tonight, and Sarah, is the rain about over?
Well, the rain, yes, but the drizzle, no. We will see that continue. Actually, we've had quite a bit of rain. Taking a look at some of the rain totals, in Sioux City, 0.22 of an inch. In Des Moines, we received anywhere from 1/5 to 1/2 of an inch. And Iowa Falls seemed to get the most rain with 0.61 of an inch. That will be turning to drizzle, and that will continue through tomorrow morning. I'll have the full forecast a little bit later on.
And Sarah, you had to be a little bit creative to enjoy this dismal weather today. I'm Jill Lingwall. I'll tell you about rainy day memorial activities coming up.
And also coming up, Martin Augustine on the true meaning of this memorial holiday. Those stories and more when we come back.
Hi, my name's Mike Spurl. I used to have cancer. A few years ago, I was on TV for Iowa Methodist Medical Center.
They smiled when things went well. They shared tears with us when things didn't go well.
This time, I'd like to say thanks to the people at Iowa Methodist and to remind everybody that I'm still here, better than ever. And so is the Cancer Center at Iowa Methodist.
The new John Stoddard Cancer Center at Iowa Methodist.